flag, for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And you can feel free to join me in the national anthem as well.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. Is she talented or what? Only 17 years old. And a homeschool. Yes, is that great? So anyway, the young man who just performed all the songs for you with his guitar, that's Wade from Hudson of New Hampshire with cowboy hat. Give him a big hand. He did a great job. And if you need his services, please let me know. I will connect you. Yeah. And let me introduce our coalition and board members. And besides me and Chow, we are very too loud orange woman here in our state. But we have Young. Here, come here, please. Young actually is our board member, Korean American, who is actually very involved with us. Is our communication director. You see him post on our Facebook page. You want to say a few words? Yeah.
What an amazing turnout! This is great for New Hampshire, and hope for a terrific red tsunami.
Yay!
Thank you, Young. And we have another secretary. Kate is our actually secretary, but she is busy today, not available. She also is expecting her first baby. Yes. And so we need to have a more diversity in New Hampshire, but not the diversity you heard on main media or the left social media. We need also diversity of minds, personalities, ideas, and thoughts. That's the best kind of diversity, not just pure skin color, right? So, and we have candidates here. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass this to Chris, and thanks Chris and Diane always offer their house and beautiful property here, backyard, for us to have our event. So thank you very much, Chris and Diane. I'm letting him to introduce the candidates.
Okay, thank you, Lily. Thank you all for coming, and I also want to thank the Vietnamese cowboy, our DJ here. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So we have a few candidates here, and I'd like to give them all a few minutes to speak, just so you can get an idea of what they're about. And we'll just do county level and above, because I think most people are not from Amherst here. So, but we do have an Amherst State Representative candidate. Russ Hodgkins is here with us today. Thank you, Russ, for running. And we've got several county officials, but first I'd like to introduce. I think he's still here. A state Senate candidate for Amherst, Milford, Wilton, and Merrimack, Senator Gary Daniels. Just say a couple words, Gary.
Good afternoon, everyone. And Lily, great job on the weather. For those who don't know me, my name is Gary Daniels. I live in Milford. Have lived there for some 64 years now. And I'm running for state senate. I currently am the senator for District 11, which encompasses the towns of Wilton, Milford, Amherst, and Merrimack. I served 18 years in the House. I'm finishing my third term in the Senate. And for the past 2 terms that I have served in the Senate, I have chaired the Senate Finance Committee. First of all, I want to thank my wife, Laureen, for putting up with this craziness. It's when you get into the campaign, it's long days and short nights, just a lot of work. And so I very much appreciate the support that she has given, which allows me to come out and to serve you, my constituents, my town, my state. This last year, we created, well, should I say 2 years ago, we created a budget that has been touted as the best budget in the nation. We lowered the budget by $172 million versus the previous budget that the Democrats came up with. We passed policies that lowered business taxes. We started phasing out the interest and dividends tax, so New Hampshire could truly be a no-income tax state. Those policies have created a surplus of $468 million. We're the only state in the country that is not in a recession. We have positive GDP growth. And the focus of the next legislature needs to be on keeping that economic engine going. We were able to actually return 2 cities and towns over $500 million in property tax relief. Now, if you haven't seen it directly coming to you, go to your town selectmen, town councils, things like that, because we made a conscious decision not to go over the local control, but to give the money back to them. In Milford, we're using it for communications, to fix our communications problem, as well as EPA mandates that are coming down on the wastewater treatment facility. So we can lower it that way, but know that we are doing what we can up there to save you money, and when we have more than we need, then we're returning it back to you. We're not creating new programs to put more money into, which many state governments will do. So as we go forward, I'm hoping that I can be back there, that I can continue working in the finance area and working with my colleagues in the House to really make New Hampshire the shining star of the Northeast and the country. We've got the engine running now. We need to keep it going. It hasn't escaped me that back in 2011, when the Democrats were in control, they left us with an $800 million hole. And my opponent voted for 74 new taxes and fees to fill that hole. That's not the way government should be. Government should be limited. We should have free markets and, have states' rights over the federal. So I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today, and I hope to just get out to vote on November 8th. That really is the important thing. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
90 tuổi tôi
One
chào cái
position
tôi sống
that
sót mà
a lot of people don't pay attention to, but it's very important.
Cái chương trình mấy cái người chính sách
Just
đó nó
in summary, the Asian vote in New Hampshire is approximately 3%.
sao đã
But in 2016, Kelly Ayotte and President Trump both lost by much less than 3%. And so the Asian vote can actually decide the election. And issues that are important to Asian Americans are the same issues that are important to all Americans. Same issues, same concerns. But one thing in particular, in New York City, there's been violence targeted against Asians. And in New Hampshire, we will not tolerate that. And one of the reasons we won't tolerate it is people like Judge John Coughlin, who's our county attorney. He will not allow that to happen. County attorney, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for hosting this wonderful event. You know, maybe we should take a minute and just think of where we are. You know, in the United States and New Hampshire, a beautiful fall day. I don't play any golf anymore because, frankly, my club usually goes further than my ball. It's no fun when you're doing that. But more seriously, what we have here in New Hampshire, we have epidemic issues with fentanyl. Fentanyl is coming up from Lawrence, Massachusetts, right into Merrimack County. And from there, it's the hub for the distribution of fentanyl that's poisoning our I would say our children, but it's not only our children, but our grandchildren. And it's a horrible disease. Our office in Manchester overlooks Veterans Park. If you've ever been in that area, Manchester's a beautiful city, but it's overrun. It's overrun with drug dealers and gang members. And crime is out of control in Manchester. And we're here in Manchester, which is fairly secure, but it's coming if it's not here already. And so I retired as a judge. I was in senior status to run for this position in 2020. And we did it to make a difference. It's all about public service. You know, one thing that's unique about New Hampshire, a lot of the boards and commissions, they're all volunteers. They don't get paid. You get mileage and maybe they'll pay for your tolls. Look at our legislature. Look at Dave Wheeler. Hi, Dave. You know, as an executive counselor, that's a very powerful position, but they don't get paid nearly for the work that they do. And the legislatures, they each make $100 a year, each state senator. That's it. My wife was one for 10 years. They told her she was overpaid. That didn't go over very well. But really, it's all about volunteering. It's all about public service, and that's why we're all here today. But I want to thank you for what a great event. You know, all of us come from somewhere. My mother was born in Quebec, in Sherbrooke. And even though the name's Coughlin, you got to be careful in New Hampshire because a lot of us are French Canadian. Probably more French Canadian than we are, English or Irish. So I want to thank Chris. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the opportunity. I'll be around if you want to ask questions. If I have any attorneys out here, I'm looking for prosecutors. Because that's one difficult thing that we've had is retaining and hiring prosecutors. But lawyers are at a premium. Lawyers can go almost anywhere and get more pay and less work. And the work of a prosecutor is really dedication and dedicated public service. So thank you. Thanks.
Okay. And John likes to put bad people in jail. So we like him. One position that a lot of people don't know anything about, including most of us, is the Register of Deeds. But it is a competitive job, and it's on the ballot for the county. And today we have Dennis Hogan. He's running for the Register of Deeds for Hillsborough County.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Dennis Hogan. I'm running for Registry of Deeds. The Registry of Deeds is a middle management position. It's the Constitution puts it in as one of those things that is supposed to be elected. Probably at the time, you know, the writers of the Constitution thought that they didn't want it to be a patronage job, so they have it elected. Now, of course, the state and the county has grown, and it's a middle management position. So, why would you want me to be the middle manager? Well, I've been an attorney for 20 years in Nashua, and I have already been one of the elected positions of the county. I was county attorney for 6 years after John did it, and then before John did it, because he's had different times being there. So you can trust me to go in there and be a good manager for the people. And I think in this day and age, because the unemployment rate is so low, and as John was saying, it's hard to get workers, I think probably the most important thing that I can bring, in addition to the knowledge, is the fact that people will like to work for me. I'm very proud of the fact that when I was county attorney, I had a very good group working with me there, and I did a lot to make sure that they were happy to work for the county at the time. And so if I bring that to the Registry of Deeds and we work together, then you'll be getting a good result at the Registry of Deeds. I like to keep things simple, and if you want to see how good simple can be, I'm the guy who made the apple pie. So I would set my I would put my prospects on whether you like the apple pie or not, because it's pretty good. So anyway, that's me. I'm Dennis Hogan, and I appreciate your thinking about me and telling your friends that they can vote for everybody in the county. By the way, the county treasurer is not here, but I would certainly endorse the county treasurer on the Republican side. That's Dave Fredette. So I always make sure to mention him when he's not around. So please vote for all of us on that side of the ballot. Thank you.
So today is Saturday, October 22nd, 2022. We're at the
Our last
New
local
Hampshire Asian
candidate
American
really,
Coalition for Republicans.
covers
in Amherst, New
1/5 of
Hampshire.
the state. So 20% of the state. He's executive counselor and a really good friend of all of ours, Dave Wheeler.
Thank you, Chris. I always have to explain what the Executive Council does, because New Hampshire is one of the only states with an Executive Council that works with the governor. So one of the things we do in New Hampshire's Executive Council is to confirm the governor's, or not, the governor's nominees for judges. Unlike most states, it's the state Senate. Here it's the Executive Council. So in this past term, the governor has nominated 23 judges. We've approved 21 judges. We've turned down 2, and I voted against 3 others judges. I'm pretty particular. I want to see strict constitutionalists as judges. One of those judges we turned down, you might find interesting, was the assistant moderator of Bedford, who kept it a secret that 150 ballots were missing. There's no way I was going to reward him to be a judge. I guess another thing that we do is to confirm the department heads. And I think one of our best people that we've confirmed was Education Commissioner Frank Edelblut.
Yay.
Because we had Frank Edelblut as Commissioner of Education, we had right from the top pushing for educational freedom accounts. And I think that's wonderful. We're up to almost 300 kids, 3,000 kids who have education freedom accounts, including my granddaughter Ellie.
Yay.
So we're also the watchdog of the budget. Every dollar that's spent needs 3 out of 5 executive counselors to be spent. And we give particular attention to all contracts that are over $10,000. We vote on those contracts individually. So I'm always keeping an eye on spending. I'm keeping an eye on borrowing. I don't like to see borrowing going more than 6-7% of general fund income. So we're your watchdog there to watch spending. I would appreciate your vote on November 8th. I'm Dave Wheeler. Thank you.
Okay, and before we get to the federal candidates, I just like to point out that here today we have people whose heritage goes to China, Hong Kong, separately within China, Vietnam, a large contingent from Vietnam, Nepal, Rudra, Philippines, Korean, Yang, and we've got some great Korean food there too, a little bit spicy. And so it's a big community within the state, and Japanese as well. So it's a large, diverse group of people, but we all have one thing in common. We want what's best for our children, for our communities, for the country, and we all have that in common, everyone. And now I'd like to reintroduce Lily, and she's going to introduce one of her good friends to speak next.
Well, that Keith, our representative of the state from New Boston, and his wife, Sue, from Hong Kong. I met them before I even moved to New Hampshire because I came here 2018, hold signs in the cold winter, and I saw Sue was also holding sign, the Keith. Elman Saya said, "Who is that?" "That's my husband who's running for state rep." But I said, "Wow, that's great. You're helping him like that." So it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend Keith and his wife. Of course, Susan, come on. Susan is from Hong Kong.
Thank you, Lily. Okay. Hi, my name is Keith Ammon, and Lily did hold signs for me. There was a time in New Boston where the Democrats held a meeting about how awful Keith Ammon was, and Lily came and sat in the front row and supported us. So that chokes me up a little bit. This is my wife, Susan. Susan is from Hong Kong. She came to the United States when she was 9. So when she gets angry at me, she has a British accent, which I think is pretty funny. So we're from New Boston, and the district is the state rep district is New Boston, Mount Vernon, Lineborough. I'm running alongside Jerry Griffin, Lisa Post, and their husband Charlie. Lisa Post and Jerry Griffin and myself, we make up the new district. So if you have friends in that area, welcome your vote. You want to say anything? Just say.
No, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I consider America my home. I grew up in Hong Kong, which was at that time under British rule, and you can see how the best of East and West can come together and create something wonderful. And I would like to see that happen. And as you can see now, Hong Kong's changed so much. They can't talk about anything, and it's quite sad for me personally how, just seeing how everybody there is being oppressed, and I'm so lucky to be here and thankful every day for being here. That's all. Thank you.